Camilla's future title was removed from the Q&A portion of the royal website. At this point, the public viewed Camilla more favorably after over a decade of royal service.
The audio recording leaked in 1993 and was published in People with the headline, "Charles and Camilla, the tape." And it's safe to say it was more awkward for all of those involved.
At 75 years old, I can barely recall anyone standing beside the Queen during those final moments. The British monarchy found itself rocked by a startling declaration from Buckingham Palace. Camilla had been removed as Queen, expelled mere hours after King Charles presided over an urgent royal meeting. The entire country couldn't stop asking, what really happened when those doors closed? Reports from palace insiders painted a disturbing picture. The medical documentation Camilla used to support her depression claims turned out to be fake. Every piece, the reports, the prescriptions, even the doctor she claimed treated her, was fabricated. What made it more explosive was the revelation that Prince William himself,
Prince William is sufficiently prepared to modernize the monarchy when he takes to the throne,
had quietly led the investigation exposing this lie. Britain stood frozen as whispers spread about a secret audio recording leaked online, containing information that could permanently damage the royal family's reputation. The night everything changed. Did Camilla truly suffer from mental illness, or had she created an elaborate performance using vulnerability as her most powerful weapon? The news anchor's voice carried a harsh edge. Queen Camilla has been commanded to leave the royal residence following a private council decision led by King Charles. London's sky hung grey above Buckingham Palace, rain falling steadily. The massive black iron gates now acted as an unforgiving wall separating a removed queen from the public. Reporters swarmed outside, camera flashes exploding through the dreary atmosphere. Protest signs waved violently, some demanding justice, while others branded her a liar. There she stood, Camilla Parker Bowles, formerly Queen Consort, now nothing more than a fading shadow.
Camilla will be known as Queen Consort as she continues her own loyal service.
Her gray dress clung wetly to her body, soaked through. Hair stuck flat against her face, mascara running in dark streaks. What remained was a shaking woman gripping her coat desperately, staring with frightened eyes at the palace that had been her home, but now stood as forbidden territory. Questions flew like weapons. Your Majesty, will you make a statement? Did the king personally order your removal? Are you ill? Her lips trembled before her voice emerged, cracked and torn by rage and desperation. Why are they doing this when I'm battling this terrible illness? Have you forgotten basic human decency? Throughout Britain, pandemonium broke loose. Video footage played endlessly. Some felt sympathy. Others dismissed her tears as calculated performance. Inside the BBC newsroom, the chief editor wondered aloud why someone truly suffering would be thrown out in the middle of the night. Beyond the gates, King Charles sat motionless in his private quarters. Lamplight created shadows across his exhausted face. A letter lay on his desk, sealed with red wax. Its words were harsh. Queen Camilla must vacate immediately. The previous night, William, Princess Anne, and advisors had laid out all evidence.
Prince William gets along very well with his aunt. In 2021, Anne and William delighted fans with 2 joint appearances in 1 week.
Charles had remained silent throughout. That silence determined her fate. Among the crowd, a young girl held an old photograph of Charles and Camilla at Balmoral. She whispered that Camilla was loved once, but power makes people forget how to love. That observation captured the tragedy of the woman shivering before cameras. Camilla's bodyguard stepped forward with an umbrella, but she pushed it away. She wanted every camera to see her face clearly, to witness her tear-streaked eyes and raw betrayal. Through the rain, she stumbled forward, then stopped, fixing her gaze directly into a camera lens. That evening, every network broadcast emergency reports. Clips of her cries mixed with footage of stone-faced palace guards. In an unprecedented action, Queen Camilla has been formally expelled from Buckingham Palace. The order has created shockwaves throughout the United Kingdom.
Prince Charles and Camilla is an architectural treasure within walking distance of Buckingham Palace in London.
Far from London, in a secluded Wiltshire villa, Camilla sat alone beside a window, listening to the wind's sad howling. Her tears had dried, replaced by heavy silence. Yet somewhere deep within, a small flame flickered, the fire of resentment mixed with fragile hope. The discovery. Early next morning, footage from the palace's west wing revealed a haunting scene. Camilla's door, marked with a gold plaque reading Her Majesty's private chamber, stood partially open. Two servants waited nearby, uncertainty visible on their faces. Their instructions were clear: remove every trace of the former queen's belongings. A young servant named Margaret took a deep breath before turning the key. The door creaked open, revealing a dimly lit room. The aroma of aged wood, mixed with fading perfume, drifted out. This was where Camilla sat every morning, studying her reflection. Margaret had served as Camilla's attendant, witnessing countless evenings when the queen sat motionless before that mirror, whispering words too soft to hear. Yet she'd also witnessed the opposite: sudden anger when health was mentioned, unexpected outbursts, the way she hid papers nobody could see. Margaret began collecting belongings: jewelry, notebooks, perfume bottles, and a small wooden box locked tight. As she lifted it, a folded paper slipped out. She read the header: Medical prescription from Dr. H. Lawson, Royal Clinic. Diagnosis of severe nervous tension disorder.
Diagnosis, but she experienced what seemed like a delay in symptoms that left her feeling terrible for weeks. Camilla said in March 2022, "It's taken 3 weeks."
She froze. Inside the box lay more prescriptions and an unopened blister pack labeled citalopram antidepressant. The medication appeared genuine. Margaret's hands trembled. She realized she'd stumbled upon something forbidden. The secret spread rapidly. A whisper to another servant, then a supervisor, and by midday the palace communications office caught wind. Within hours, the news leaked. That afternoon, screens flashed. Queen Camilla's belongings reveal secret diagnosis. Severe nervous breakdown discovered. The media storm reignited with greater intensity. Public outrage transformed into sympathy. Images of Camilla weeping circulated widely. During a televised special, a news anchor declared this revelation changes everything. If Queen Camilla was genuinely suffering, then the royal decree may be remembered as one of the coldest decisions in modern monarchy history. The investigation. Later that day, Princess Anne returned to the palace. She demanded to review the discovery herself. Reading severe nervous tension disorder, she exhaled sharply. Poor woman. But something doesn't feel right. An aide hesitated before asking what she meant. If she was truly that ill, why keep everything hidden? Why not confide in Charles or seek help from royal physicians? She concealed the prescription, the clinic, everything. That's not fear, that's strategic planning. The room went silent. Though Anne hadn't spoken it as accusation, her words cast a dark shadow. On television, commentators analyzed every photo. A psychologist argued depressed patients often avoid medication, so unopened pills don't prove fabrication. But a former royal physician countered coldly, "The signature on that prescription belongs to nobody in the official registry. I suspect the entire file is forged." In Charles's study, the lamp burned late. He sat before newspapers, reading with exhaustion. He hadn't spoken to anyone since morning. Anne entered, placing a photocopy on his desk. "Have you seen this?" "Yes," Charles murmured. "I don't believe it's genuine. I don't want to believe it either," he replied. "But if it's forged, she deceived the entire nation." Charles sat surrounded by old papers Camilla had given him with trembling fingers. "This is Dr. Lawson's report. He says I need rest or I won't survive." At the time, Charles hadn't doubted her, but now, under his desk lamp, he saw nothing fit together. The first report mentioned citalopram for depression. Yet the dosage note prescribed it for insomnia, not depression. The font differed entirely from official royal medical documents. Another report listed an address for the Royal Clinic in St. James, but when his secretary verified, the response chilled him. No such clinic exists in the National Health Registry. His mind slipped back to a spring evening. Camilla had come to the library, hands shaking, voice weak. "I'm suffering from deep depression, Charles. If I could be queen, just once truly queen, I might stop feeling worthless. I promise. After that, I'll be at peace." Behind her fragility, he'd noticed something else, a faint glint of cold calculation. He'd dismissed it, trusting love would heal ambition. Now those words returned like a confession replayed. He understood now with terrible clarity. Her illness, her panic, her tears might have been nothing more than an elaborate act designed to win sympathy and gain power. The official registry showed no Dr. H. Lawson. The royal health system showed no medical visits under Camilla's name for 6 months. No facility called Royal Clinic existed. It formed a picture too coherent to ignore. This was deception, deliberate design, the reckoning. The antique clock struck 7. Each chime landed like judgment. Charles stared at the forged signature. A tear slipped down his cheek, not from fury, but from the hollow ache of realizing he'd been used by the woman he trusted completely. "Camilla," he whispered. Was power worth this much? Did the throne mean more than love? Only rain answered. He remembered early days, walks through gardens, her handwritten notes, promises whispered secretly. "I'll give you everything, as long as you stay by my side." He'd kept that promise. He'd given her everything. Status, affection, the crown. But she'd transformed his love into a weapon. William entered quietly, sorrow lingering in his eyes. Charles slid the documents across the desk. William scanned the pages, his jaw tightening. "I never imagined the person I loved most would deceive me so completely," Charles said, voice strained. "When she said becoming queen would make her happier, I thought it was a plea for comfort, not manipulation." William's fists tightened. "Father, pity is the easiest emotion to exploit. In this monarchy, whoever can make others feel sorry for them holds tremendous power." "What should we do now?" William asked. Charles rose, walking to the window. "Not me," he murmured. "Justice will decide." William said steadily, "Father, I think I know the real identity of this doctor. He runs a private clinic in Chelsea. If we want the truth, we should see him." "Tomorrow, then," Charles turned. "Then we'll go. I want to hear it from his own mouth." The morning arrived gray and misty. The royal car slipped from the palace gates, no escorts, just 2 figures in silence. Hidden in a narrow Chelsea lane stood an old brick townhouse. Dr. Harold Dunn, private consultation. The man who opened the door appeared middle-aged, hair disordered, complexion pale. At the sight of them, he nearly lost his balance, stammering nervously. Charles nodded faintly. "We only want the truth." They entered a cramped office smelling of antiseptic and coffee. William set the file on the desk. "You signed these reports? The diagnosis, the prescription, the treatment notes from the Royal Clinic?" Dr. Dunn lowered his gaze. "Yes, but only because it was requested." Charles leaned forward, tone cutting. "Requested by whom?" "By Queen Camilla herself," Dunn whispered. William's brow furrowed. "You knew she wasn't receiving care through official channels, yet you still signed these forms. Do you realize the magnitude of what you've done?" The doctor swallowed hard. "I know, but she promised to help reinstate my medical license. She said she only needed papers proving she was fragile, to shield herself from palace attacks. She insisted it was for protection." Charles looked down. "And you believed her?" Dr. Dunn hesitated, then reached into his drawer and pulled out a voice recorder. "I didn't know what to believe, but I recorded our last conversation. I was afraid she might return with threats, so I kept it for safety." William glanced at his father. Charles nodded. "Play it." A faint click sounded. Then came her voice, cool and composed, unmistakably sharp. "I just need a few papers proving I'm weak. Everyone will pity me, and then they'll hand me the crown." The word crown sliced through silence like a blade. Charles froze, gripping the chair until his knuckles turned white, face contorting with pain. "She really said that?" he rasped. Dr. Dunn nodded. William switched off the recorder. The room fell still except for rain ticking against the window. After a long pause, William spoke softly. "Father, now you see what she was doing." Charles lifted his gaze, eyes glazed with tears. "I didn't want to believe, but now I've heard it with my own ears." They left without another word. The drive back passed in complete silence, the weight of truth pressing between them. Both knew that recording would forever alter their family's fate. 3 nights later, the secret was no longer theirs. The audio found its way to the public. At midnight, social media erupted with a 10-second clip. Just that unmistakable voice. "I just need a few papers proving I'm weak. Everyone will pity me, and then they'll hand over the crown." By morning, every newspaper carried the headline, "The Voice of Deception." Screens looped the clip non-stop. Commentators read her words slowly, each syllable driving another nail into the monarchy's pride. This leaked recording has changed everything. This may stand as the greatest act of manipulation in British royal history. Public outrage exploded. Those who felt pity now turned with fury. Forensic experts matched the voice beyond dispute. It was Camilla's. A dynasty built on trust now faced the greatest crisis of credibility. The unraveling truth. In Wiltshire, Camilla sat in darkness. The television played the recording endlessly, her own voice looping like a ghostly accusation. "Turn it off," she whispered, but her assistant hesitated, too frightened. Lightning flashed, illuminating her pale face, mascara streaked like dried tears. She clutched her temples. "Impossible. Who did this?" Her voice shook, but deep down she knew. Only one man heard those words. Dr. Dunn had betrayed her. The cup crashed to the floor. She collapsed into a chair, face buried in hands. Outside, cameras flashed. Reporters gathered at the gate, shouting, "Your Majesty, any comment on the recording?" No answer came, only the outline of a broken woman bent beneath her own downfall. Back in Buckingham, chaos reigned. The communications office buzzed frantically. Advisors argued. Phones rang without pause. But Princess Anne didn't wait. Her plane landed before dawn, and she drove straight to the palace, eyes cold and sharp. She strode into the council chamber where Charles and William sat. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Anne slammed the paper onto the table. The voice of deception. She fixed her gaze on her brother. The recording's gone global. The whole world is watching. If we say nothing, no one will believe the monarchy stands for truth. A woman used illness as a weapon to claim the crown.
The other woman, a home wrecker, someone who destroyed a modern fairy tale.
And we allowed it. Charles lifted his weary eyes. "You think I don't know that? I understand what's at stake, but she's still the woman I loved." Anne's tone hardened. "Feelings don't outweigh duty. If you stay silent, this family and crown will fall with her." William's voice broke the tension. "We need an official verdict. The press cannot be judge. The Royal Council must issue a formal statement." Anne nodded firmly. "Then convene an emergency session tonight, and you will preside." Charles remained silent for seconds. Outside, thunder rolled. Rain thrummed against windows. Charles walked to the glass, staring into the storm. After a moment, he exhaled and turned back. "Very well," he said quietly. "Summon them. Tonight we meet." That night, Buckingham glowed through rain like a fortress of light. Inside, the council chamber gleamed with polished wood and old portraits. Around the oval table, leather chairs stood ready. At the center sat Charles, William, and Anne. Before them lay the evidence: the fake medical file, the damning recording, the newspaper still damp from the storm. For minutes, no one spoke. Only the ticking clock cut through silence, counting down to judgment. Finally, Charles's voice broke the air, low and rough. "We've let emotion rule too long. It ends tonight. I will not allow this monarchy's honor to be used again." A somber dawn settled over Buckingham Palace. Upon the red velvet table lay the final decree, its words sharp and unforgiving. Queen Camilla is hereby deprived of all royal titles and privileges. Charles remained still, expression unreadable. William stood behind him, calm and steady, while Anne watched from across the room. When Charles signed, the pen's scratch resounded in silence, dry and final. That afternoon, the royal statement was released. Screens flared with breaking headlines. Queen Camilla stripped of royal status. Following the Royal Council's decision, former Queen Camilla will permanently withdraw from all public engagements.
Queen Camilla has been forced to withdraw from key engagements.
The nation exploded with reaction. Some felt sorrow, others contempt. Half saw justice served, the rest saw a woman undone. Newspapers splashed her rain-soaked image across front pages. Hair disheveled, mascara smeared, face broken in despair. Beneath it, from throne to traitor, Camilla's fall. The following morning, the western gate swung open. A black car exited. No escort, no flags, no ceremony. In the back seat sat Camila, pale and worn, turning her face from cameras. "Your Majesty, any regrets?" a reporter shouted. She didn't respond. The door shut and the car drove off, the engine fading like the final echo of power. The media tore apart every detail, replaying the recording. Tabloids competed for the boldest headline: a queen who faked illness for the throne. Amid the uproar, Charles withdrew to Sandringham, his health deteriorating under strain. William and Catherine stepped forward to stabilize the monarchy. At a press conference, William stated firmly, "We can't rewrite history, but we will defend the truth, whatever it takes." Gradually, the public settled. Confidence was rebuilt, but Camilla's image disappeared from every broadcast. Every official portrait erased from royal memory. That evening in Wiltshire, in a quiet country house, Camilla sat by the window, motionless. The dim glow reflected in her hollow eyes as she turned on the radio. The announcer murmured, "Former Queen Camilla remains in seclusion. It is unknown whether she will ever return." A faint, bitter smile touched her lips. Half irony, half sorrow. "I had everything and lost everything, simply because I wanted to be loved." The wind sighed through the open window, curtains lifting gently. Outside, night descended over Wiltshire. Once serene land, now only wind whispering through dying gardens. An age had ended, not with a bang, but with the quiet surrender of a woman who sacrificed love for a crown, and in the end was left with neither. In your opinion, what is the biggest lesson this story leaves about power and trust? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more.